Well, a blessed good morning and welcome to Friday. It is the end of the week. Another week has passed and here we are. Giving thanks to Almighty God for all that He has done with us and through us during the course of this week past. Thanking God for the words that we would have shared, the thoughts, the energy, just the sharing, just the ability to be present with each other, whether during the live broadcast or listening later on in the evening or another day. The fact is that our energies were together and we would have all benefited in some way or another. So the week is here. It is ended and we give God thanks. And I trust that our theme for this week, passing to be in the world but not of the world, I trust that the theme has been meaningful to you and that in some way you would have been able to glean something from it for your journey. This journey of yours is a beautiful journey if we know how to serve it well. It is ours to serve. We must allow the journey to unfold and give us the opportunity to benefit from all that it has to offer us. So let us now join together as we come into this time of meditation and prayer, as we bring ourselves into that space that allows us to really reflect and be a part. Coming at the end of a week, a time when perhaps we're tired and just in need of a time to rest, looking forward to the break, especially those of us who are able to rest on Saturdays, at least rest from our other work. So in this moment, as we go into this final day of the work week, we take a deep breath and we release all that has in any way constrained us in the past few days. We release all the tiredness, all the stress, all the discomfort. When we come into this final day, seeking to be renewed, giving thanks for what we've learned, giving thanks for what we have experienced, and trusting that in some way this week would have added to our journey in a positive way. Some of us might have had significant challenges in this week, but all in all, they're for us. And we need to understand that these experiences are for us and to see how we can benefit in some small way from every experience. So we bring ourselves within, seeking to find that original self, that pure light. Seeking to rest in that space for a few moments. Giving ourselves the opportunity to be without all the baggage that we carry around with ourselves. Just being in that quiet space. A place that we need to remember. A place that we need to visit from time to time. A place that helps us recognize that we are not of the world. We are just in it. And we are in it so that we may utilize it for our betterment, for our growth, for our becoming. So we give thanks as we sit or lie in this wonderful spaciousness, and we allow all that is to take place. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax collection station, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. And as he sat at dinner in the house, many tax collectors and sinners came and were sitting with Jesus and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" But when he heard this, he said, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Then the disciples of John came to him saying, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples do not fast?" And Jesus said to them, "The wedding attendants cannot mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them, can they? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast. No one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth onto an old cloak, for the patch pulls away from the cloak, and a worse tear is made. Neither is new wine put into old wineskins. Otherwise, the skins burst, and the wine is spilled, and the skins are ruined. But new wine is put into fresh wineskins, and so both are preserved." So the end of the week is here, and we want to give God thanks for everything that we have learned, everything that we have been able to experience in this past week. But even more so, we want to just pull it all together. Be in the world, but not of the world. In this passage, Jesus is surrounded by publicans and so-called sinners. And he seems to be in the midst of this whole thing, and others looking on are judging and making that assumption that here you are and you are hanging out with publicans and sinners. And this idea of hanging out with publicans and sinners gives the impression that he is of the world. But Jesus knows who he is. And Jesus is able to stand in his self, in his own understanding of who he is and why he's here. And therefore he can go anywhere and he can hang out with anyone. And this is the lesson that we all need to learn. That we can hang out with anyone. We don't have to be fearful. When one knows who one is, one does not have to fear hanging with others. Jesus says he's come to call sinners, not the righteous, because the righteous think that they're already covered. He comes to call sinners. He hasn't come to join sinners. He's come to call sinners. In order to call sinners, Jesus must maintain his own integrity. He must remain as he knows himself to be, so that the one who is of the world may be able to see the example of Jesus and the life of Jesus and be drawn to that life, leaving the world behind and coming to a place where he or she finds himself or herself. Because the notion of being in the world is to be in the world as a person, in the world as someone who understands who he or she is, who is discerning their purpose and seeking to follow that purpose, to follow that path, and not allowing themselves to just merge in the world. When the powers that be challenge Jesus about hanging out with sinners, and they do so from a place of arrogance and self-righteousness, it is interesting because what they're actually proving is that they, in their arrogance and in their sense of self-righteousness, they're just acting out what the world perceives. They're just going by the rules of the world. They are as much of the world as the very ones that they are pouring scorn on. Their judgments of others puts them in the category of being of the world. Jesus, on the other hand, who is able to look beyond the thing that Matthew is doing and to see Matthew's heart and to reach to Matthew and call forth that self, a self that belongs to God. Jesus is using a different methodology. He is being in the world. He is being his true self. And because he's being his true self, he can see the true self in others. My friends, if we are calling ourselves believers, that is what our task is. To first of all come to know our own selves, our own true selves, our own core selves, so that when we look out from beyond our eyes, we can see not the world, but we can see those who need to be called out from the world. We can see the individuals with their challenges, with their failings, yes, but individuals, those who belong to God, those whom God have already sent into this world. John's disciples challenged Jesus. Why do ourselves, the Pharisees, why do all us fast and you don't? They're inviting Jesus and his disciples to be like everybody else. No, we're not called to be like everybody else. We're called to journey on our path. We're called to make sense of what we're doing based on where we are, based on what our purpose is, not based on what other people have done or are doing. It's important. We have to think for ourselves. Jesus says you don't take a piece of unshrunk cloth and patch an old garment. Right? You don't try to take that which is fresh and new and try to fit it into what is already there. It doesn't fit. The messages that we have from Jesus, the messages which seek to call us out of the world, these are new messages. This is a new way of looking at the world. And the invitation is to call persons forth and not allow ourselves to blend into the world and the things of the world. These are the challenges that we face as persons as we seek to walk this path, as we seek to journey as believers. So this week I would have focused on to be in the world, but not of the world. I really hope that you have gleaned something from what I've been saying. I really hope that in some way that it has caused you to really give some thought to this and to understand it at a cellular level, to understand it at the deepest possible level, so that not only does it make cognitive sense to you, but it awakens within your heart and it invites you into a space of transformation, to come away from the world, not to condemn the world, not to curse the world, but to withdraw yourself, to bring yourself out, to bring yourself back to your own wholeness, to your own truth. And then you can look at the world from there. Then you can engage the world from there, because you now have something to offer the world. You now have the gift that you are to offer the world. When we are of the world, we're simply doing what everybody else is doing. And we offer the world nothing. But you are special. Yes, you are special. Special in the sense that you're unique. We are all special. We are all unique. And the world needs our uniqueness as a gift. But it can't receive that if we simply allow ourselves to fall into the whole sea of everyone else. And we all come to a place of sameness. Unfortunately, at times, even our faith traditions want us to be like everybody else. And sometimes persons who are seeking to be themselves and to follow their path, we call them fanatics. And we pour scorn on them. Maybe that's how people saw Jesus, as a fanatic. But nonetheless, what is of importance is that we, each one of us, takes the opportunity to recognize that we are here with a purpose and we have to follow that purpose. May God keep you in His love. May He keep you in the world. May He protect you from all evil. May He protect you from falling into that sense of being of the world, and help you to be who you are, so you become a witness to His love for this world.